Golden Blue Tube here with you, and I'm on vacation here at Edisto Beach, but that does not mean I stopped making videos. But I said that just in case you hear talking in the background or loud noises, because I'm here with a lot of people. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about the game that I think West Virginia depends on success or failure on the most this year. A lot of people look at that first game, Florida State, and I can understand that, but I really do have a lot of confidence that West Virginia will win that game. The biggest reason is Florida State's offensive line is trash. I've said it many, many times, and I'll say it again. They have a new coach, and Norvell is a good coach, and I do think he will bring Florida State back to relevancy. I just don't think this is the year. So, my game that I think West Virginia's season hinges on is that Texas Tech game, the first true road game. So, not just because of the first time of us actually being on the road, but Big 12, the importance of the Big 12, because I think West Virginia will finish 5th. So if West Virginia loses this game, that number doesn't look so great. So let's do a generic overview of what Texas Tech is coming into 2020 with. I'm not going super in depth, just something generic. So let's look at their offense real quick. Well, when you talk about their offense, you have to start out with their quarterback, Allen, the showman, Bowman. He, last year, he had limited action, but his stats were 65.6% completion rate, 1,020 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Now, he placed 9th in the Big 12 with those stats, but keep in mind, limited action. He had a much better 2018. I just didn't want to dig that far back. Anyways, so the biggest thing for Texas Tech is Allen, the showman. Bowman needs a go-to receiver. He has a bunch of choices. He has Eric Ezugamana, hope I said that right, TJ Vasher, Xavier White, Dalton Rigdon, Kayshawn Carter, or McLean Mannix. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's going to be Kayshawn Carter just because he's the fastest and he's proven a little bit more. My money is on Xavier White. I've looked at tape of him. He has exceptional hands. He doesn't drop the ball that much. So I'm going to say Xavier White will end up being the go-to, but he will have to prove himself. This year, the O-line is a work in progress. Last year, they had pretty good offensive line. They ranked 8th nationally in sack rate, which means the opponents did not get to the quarterback that often. But they did lose Terrence Steele, Travis Bruffy, and Madison Akamanu. I don't know if I said that right. But anyways, all 3 of those guys are gone, and so they're going to have a lot of fresh faces on the offense. Defense, their star, their only glimmer of hope on their defense, Jordan Brooks, is gone. Why do I say that? Because the Red Raiders were the worst defense in the Big 12, and they were allowing 480 yards per game. That is not good. So I think this year, the Red Raiders need to slow their offense down to give their defense more of a chance. I know we want offenses that can score quickly, but when your defense is a work in progress, you have to slow it down to give them time to adjust to the game and to catch their breath. So, last year, their defense had 14 interceptions, which is 3rd in the Big 12. So, that's not bad, but the big plays killed Texas Tech. The opponents that played against Texas Tech had 8.7% of their plays go for what are called explosive plays, 30 yards or more. So they have to limit that. So the strength for defense this year, in my opinion, will be their secondary. They have DeMarcus Fields and Zach McPherson returning in their secondary. So the defensive line, they got something to prove this year because they were terrible last year. And the secondary will be their strong suit. So how does that match up against West Virginia? Well, let's go back to Texas Tech's offense first. Their offensive line, work in progress. Well, they're going to have to deal with the Steele brothers up front, so I think that check mark goes in the direction of West Virginia. They do have some capable receivers, and we do have some experience coming back in the secondary, so I'm going to call that a wash. So as far as their offense versus our defense, that could be a close battle with the line of scrimmage determining who is going to take that. Now let's look at Texas Tech defense versus West Virginia's offense. We have some experience coming back at quarterback. I think Dougie will win the starting position for West Virginia. We have Sam James and T.J. Higgins. Also, Letty Brown to lead a very deep running back core. So I think West Virginia gets the overall slight edge in our offense versus Texas Tech's defense because we have a lot of experience coming back on the offensive line, and Texas Tech's defensive line, not that great last year. So I'm going to give the check mark to West Virginia right there. Our receivers versus their secondary, experience versus experience, I'm going to call that a wash. And then you throw in experience at quarterback and running back against the defensive line and linebackers, and they lost their star. Texas Tech lost their star linebacker. I'll give the check to West Virginia. So that's why I'm giving a slight nod to West Virginia. However, like I said, this is West Virginia's first true road game, and they have struggled in Lubbock many, many times. Even 2 years ago when West Virginia clearly was the better team with Greer and Stills and company, and Texas Tech came back and made it a close game. So if West Virginia can tune out the crowd and focus on their strengths, they should pull a win out. And I've noticed that Neil Brown is very good at coaching his kids up for road games. Last year we went in and beat Kansas State and TCU, two teams who were better than West Virginia on the road, pulled out the victory. So I have confidence that West Virginia can do it. The question is, will West Virginia actually do it? That's all I got for you today. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.